All right, ready to dive in. Today we're tackling The Sympathizer, the Pulitzer Prize-winning novel by Viet Thanh Nguyen.
Oh, yeah, this one is a real page-turner.
It is a story about the Vietnam War
Oh.
and its aftermath,
Told
through the eyes of a communist spy.
Right, a really unique perspective.
It is. So Nguyen, he crafts this narrative where we see the fall of Saigon, the struggles of refugees in America, espionage.
Yeah, all through this double agent's eyes.
And the book doesn't shy away from those
Oh, no.
tough questions, right?
Nope.
Like identity, loyalty,
Betrayal.
the impact of war. It's all woven in there.
Really gets you thinking.
So let's start at the beginning.
Okay.
The chaotic final days of Saigon in April 1975.
Right.
What can you tell us about this setting and our protagonist?
Well, right away, Nguyen just drops us right in the middle of that evacuation.
Wow.
It's a desperate, desperate scramble for survival as the city is just on the verge of collapse,
Yeah.
And then we meet our main character. He's a captain
Okay.
serving a South Vietnamese general.
Uh-huh.
But, and here's the twist, he's secretly a communist spy,
Whoa.
reporting on the very people he's supposed to be loyal to.
Okay, so talk about a dangerous double life right from the start.
Right.
How does the fall of Saigon impact him personally?
It's a real turning point for him. He has to make, these really tough choices, putting his mission above everything else.
Yeah.
And we see this when his close friend Bon, he tragically loses his family, his wife and son.
Wow.
It's just chaos.
That's awful.
It really, shows the brutal cost of war.
Yeah.
And the impossible situations people are put in.
Right. And so the protagonist, along with the general, Madam and Bon, they escape.
Yeah.
They end up in Los Angeles, reviewing their lives.
Right.
What's their experience like as refugees in America?
Well, it's a huge adjustment, obviously.
Yeah.
They've gone from this war-torn country to a land of, supposed opportunity. But they're dealing with loss, displacement, adapting to a new culture. It's tough.
Makes sense.
The general, he kind of clings to his old status,
Okay.
opens a liquor store. Madame, she actually discovers this talent for cooking, opens a faux restaurant.
Interesting. So they each find their own way.
Yeah.
What about the protagonist? Does he leave his spy life behind?
No, not at all.
Really?
He keeps operating as a spy, reporting on former South Vietnamese officials who are also, trying to make new lives for themselves in America.
Right.
He's basically tasked with infiltrating their community, keeping tabs on them.
So he's still living this double life, even in America.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot.
It is. Does this create any internal conflict for him?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
He's torn between his loyalty to the communist cause.
Yeah.
And then he starts developing feelings for Lana, the general's daughter.
Oh, wow.
And she kind of represents the freedoms of American life, right?
Yeah.
It's a stark contrast to what he's been, brought up with.
So it's like forbidden romance and a dangerous secret mission all in one.
Exactly.
What could go wrong? What happens next?
Well, things get even more intense when the general, he gets really paranoid, thinks there's a traitor in his inner circle.
Oh.
He suspects this former officer, the major.
Okay.
And guess what? He tasks our protagonist with eliminating him.
Whoa, that's a big ask.
It is.
How does the protagonist respond?
Well, he's in a tough spot.
Yeah.
If he refuses, his cover is blown.
Right.
But if he goes through with it, he has to take a life.
Yeah, a major moral dilemma.
Right.
So another impossible choice.
Uh-huh.
Does he do it?
He does. He and Bon, they ambush the major. It's brutal.
Wow. That's intense.
Yeah, it's a turning point in the book for sure.
Yeah.
He's committed to this spiral now, but it weighs on him.
It sounds like he's getting deeper and deeper into this world.
He is, with each decision pulling him further away from, any kind of normal life.
Right.
He's in deep.
Yeah, that's heavy stuff.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this whole moral thing, it gets even more complicated when he ends up in Hollywood.
Hollywood. Why? What's he doing there?
Well, he's sent there to consult on a film
Oh, wow.
about the Vietnam War, ironically titled The Hamlet.
Interesting.
The producers, they want his, insider perspective,
I guess so.
to make it authentic.
Yeah.
But he sees it as a chance to, shape the narrative, how the Vietnamese people are shown.
Okay, I see. So he goes from espionage to the glitz and glamour.
Right. It's a wide shift.
It is. What happens on set?
Well, clash of cultures, big time.
I bet.
He clashes with the director, who's got this romanticized, like, heroic vision of the war.
Yeah, that classic Hollywood lens.
Exactly. And our guy, he tries to bring in the realism, pointing out the complexities, the human cost.
Makes sense.
Which Hollywood tends to ignore.
Right, so he's trying to reclaim the narrative.
Yeah, challenge that dominant American perspective.
Is he successful?
To some extent, he influences some things.
Okay.
But it's an uphill battle,
Yeah, against that established narrative.
Right, that tendency to simplify, sanitize a complex event.
It's interesting how storytelling can shape our perceptions.
Absolutely. It can even distort reality.
Right, so did this experience change him?
Oh, yeah, it made him more cynical, more aware of the hypocrisy he sees in America.
He saw how the war was being, packaged and sold to the public.
Right, a far cry from what he actually lived through.
So he goes back to L.A., disillusioned.
Yeah, even more conflicted.
What's waiting for him back there?
Not peace, that's for sure.
I figured.
The general, he's still obsessed with rooting out threats.
Oh, that paranoia.
Yeah, and he demands another act of loyalty from our protagonist.
Okay, what does he want this time?
It involves his friend Sonny, a leftist journalist.
Oh.
Who's caught the general's attention.
So what does he want Sonny silenced?
Basically, he gives him this ultimatum. Eliminate Sonny, prove his loyalty, and secure a place in the general's guerrilla army.
Oh my God.
It's a test.
Yeah, a loyalty test.
To see where the protagonist really stands.
So another impossible choice.
Right. His friend or his mission.
And the general's trust, yeah.
Exactly.
It's a lose-lose.
He really is.
What does he choose? Loyalty to his friend or his mission?
He picks the mission.
Wow.
Driven by, I don't know, fear, duty, maybe even self-preservation. He kills Sonny in his own apartment.
That's brutal.
It is. He's crossed a line.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he can come back from that.
Right. He's in too deep now.
He's got the general's trust, but at a huge cost.
Exactly. He's lost himself in the process.
Where does he go from there?
Well, his actions catch up to him.
Yep.
He's on a mission with Bon in Vietnam, and they get captured by the communists in Laos.
Oh, wow. Talk about a twist.
Right. From spy to prisoner.
What's that like for him?
It's a total shock. Completely different from his life before.
Yeah, he's not in control anymore.
No control, harsh conditions. He's forced to really face his past.
Wow.
The psychological torture is intense.
What do they do to him?
Isolation, sleep deprivation, constant interrogation.
Oh, that sounds awful.
It's designed to break him down, make him doubt everything.
It works.
To a degree, yeah.
So Nguyen uses this imprisonment to really get into his head.
Exactly. Force him to look at the choices he's made.
Who's his main interrogator?
It's the commissar.
Okay.
This guy who embodies that communist ideology.
Yeah.
And he keeps asking this question.
What is it?
What is more precious than independence and freedom?
Ooh, that's a loaded question.
It is, especially given the situation.
Right, he's a prisoner, and they're asking him about freedom.
Yeah, it makes him reevaluate his whole life.
Wow.
His motivations, his beliefs, everything.
It's like he's come full circle.
Right.
From communist spy to doing things he regrets to now being their prisoner.
And facing that ideology head on.
Yeah, that's heavy.
It is. And then there's this huge revelation.
What?
The commissar, his torturer, turns out to be his old friend, Man.
No way.
Yeah. And Man's been horribly disfigured by napalm.
Oh my God, so his torturer is someone he knows.
Someone shaped by the very war they were both in.
That's intense. How does that affect him?
It changes everything for him.
I bet.
He sees the enemy not as this abstract idea, but as a person. Someone who suffered.
Right. It humanizes the conflict.
Exactly, in a way he never considered before. Yeah, it really does. It forces him to see things differently, and ultimately, he does find an answer.
He does.
He does, but it doesn't come from, like big speeches or political arguments.
Okay.
It comes from, well, just surviving, He realizes that nothing, not even freedom, is more important than just being alive.
Wow, that's powerful.
It is, and it's hard won, for sure.
Yeah, does this new understanding lead to his release?
It does. The book doesn't go into detail about how it happens.
Okay.
But he's set free with Bon,
Right.
and they're sent back to Vietnam.
Interesting. A homeland that probably feels foreign to them now.
Exactly.
What a journey, from spy to refugee, fleeing his own ideology. So tell me about this escape.
Okay, well, they end up on this fishing trawler.
Okay.
Packed with people desperate for a new life.
Yeah.
And it becomes like a microcosm of that human struggle.
Wow.
He's lost everything, his beliefs, his old life, his identity.
It's all gone.
Yeah, all that's left is that need to survive.
That basic instinct. Does he make it?
He does, but the book leaves it open-ended.
Okay.
We know he survives the journey, but his future, it's unclear.
Right, he's starting over.
Yeah, like he's reborn, but carrying the weight of everything that's happened.
It's a thought-provoking ending, isn't it?
It is. No easy answers, just like real life.
The Sympathizer takes us on this incredibly complex journey, exploring these huge themes.
Yeah, identity, loyalty, the cost of war, all through this one character.
Who's so conflicted.
Exactly, and that's what makes it so gripping.
And Nguyen really knows how to tell a story.
He does. He blends history and politics with these personal struggles. So, well, it stays with you long after you finish it.
That's true. So for our listeners, what's the one thing you want them to take away from the Sympathizer?
I think it's this. It's more than just a war story or a spy thriller.
Okay.
It's about what it means to be human. The choices we make when things are impossible.
Wow.
It makes you question your assumptions, confront those hard truths about ourselves and the world.
That's a powerful message. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with this thought.
Okay.
Imagine you're the protagonist at the end. He's free, but his future is uncertain. He's lost so much, but he's gained this understanding of life.
Right.
How would you rebuild, carrying that past with you, but also embracing that chance for a new beginning?
That's a great question to think about.
It is, and I think that's what makes the Sympathizer so impactful.
Yeah.
Makes us think, challenges our perspectives, and helps us understand the human experience.
Absolutely, with all its messiness and contradictions.
Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the Sympathizer.
My pleasure. It's been great.